Derry looked Derry looked real worried. I suddenly realized that Derry was only 20 and that he had wasn't so much older than he could feel scared or hurt and as lost as the rest of us. I saw that I had expected Derry to do all the understanding without even trying to understand himself, and he had given up a lot for Soda and me. Sure, little buddy, Derry said softly, we're not gonna fight anymore. Hey, pony boy, Soda gave me a tearful grin. Don't you start crying too. One ball baby in the family's enough. I'm not crying, I said. Maybe I was. I don't remember. Soda just gave me a playful punch on the shoulder. No more fights, okay, pony boy? Derry said. Okay, I said. And I meant it. Derry and I would probably still have misunderstandings. We were too different not to, but no more fights. We couldn't do anything to hurt Soda. Soda Pop would always be the middleman, but that didn't mean that we had to keep getting pulled apart. Instead of Derry and me pulling me, instead of Derry pulling me apart, he'd be pulling us together. Well, Soda said, I'm cold. How about going home? Race you, I challenged, leaping up. It was real nice night for a race. The air was clear and cool and clean, so it almost sparkled. The moon wasn't out, but stars lit up everything. It was quiet except for the sound of our feet on the cement and the dry scraping sound of leaves blowing across the street. It was real nice night. I guess I was still out of shape because we all three tied. No, I guess we all just wanted to stay together. I still don't want to do my homework. I still didn't want to do my homework that night, though. I hunted around for a book to read, but I'd read everything in the house about 40 million times, even Derry's copy of the Carpetbaggers, though he told me I wasn't old enough to read it. I thought so too after I finished it. Finally, I picked up Gone with the Wind and looked at it for a long time. I knew Johnny was dead. I had known all the time, even while I was sick and pretending he wasn't. It was Johnny, not me, who had killed Bob. I knew that too. I had just thought that maybe if I played like Johnny wasn't dead, it wouldn't hurt so much. The way Two Bit after the way Two Bit after the police had taken Daly's body away had griped because he lost his switchblade when they searched Dallas. Is that all that bothered you, that switchblade? A red-eyed Steve had snapped at him. No, Two Bit had said in a quivering sigh, but that's what I'm wishing was all that was bothering me. But it still hurt anyway. You know a good guy, you know a guy a long time, and you mean you really know him. You don't get used to the idea that he's dead just overnight. Johnny was something more than a buddy to all of us. I guess he had listened to more beefs and more problems and more people than any of us. A guy'll list just the guy a guy that'll just really listen to you, listen and care about what you're saying, and something rare. And I couldn't forget him telling me that he hadn't done enough, hadn't been out of the neighborhood all his life, and that it was too late to. I took a deep breath and opened the book. A slip of paper fell out on the floor, and I picked it up. Ponyboy, I asked the nurse to give this book to you so you could finish it. It was Johnny's handwriting. I went on reading it, almost hearing Johnny's quiet voice. The doctor came in a while ago, but I knew anyway. I kept getting tireder and tireder. Listen, I don't mind dying now. It's worth it. It's worth saving those lives. Their lives are worth more than mine. They have more to live for. Some of their parents came by to thank me, and I know it was worth it. Tell Daly it's worth it. I'm just going to miss you guys. I've been thinking about it and about that poem, the guy that wrote it. He meant you're golden when you're a kid, like green. When you're a kid, everything's new, dawn. It's just when you get used to everything that it's a day. Like the way you dig sunsets, Pony. That's gold. Keep that way. It's a good way to be. I want you to tell Daly to look at one. He'll probably think you're crazy, but ask for me. I don't think he's ever really seen a sunset. And don't be so bugged over being a greaser. You still have a lot of time to make yourself what you want. There's still a lot of good in the world. Tell Daly. I don't think he knows. Your buddy, Johnny. Tell Daly. It was too late to tell Daly. Would he have listened? I doubted it. Suddenly, it wasn't only a personal thing to me. I could picture hundreds and hundreds of boys living on the wrong sides of the cities, boys with black eyes who jumped at their own shadows, hundreds of boys who maybe watched sunsets and looked at stars and ached for something better. I could see boys getting down under streetlights because they were mean and tough and hated the world. And it was too late to tell them that there was still good in it, and they wouldn't believe you if you did. I wasn't, I was too vast, it was too vast a problem to just be a personal thing. There should be some help. Someone should help them before it was too late. Someone should tell their side of the story, and maybe people would understand then and wouldn't be so quick to judge a boy by the amount of hair oil he wore. It was important to me. I picked up the phone book and called my English teacher. Mr. Smite, this is Pony Boy. That theme, how long can it be? Uh, not less than 5 pages. He sounded a little surprised. I forgot it was late at night. Can it be longer? Certainly, Pony Boy, as long as you want it to be. Thanks. I sat and hung up the phone. I sat down and picked up my pen and thought for a minute, remembering a handsome dark boy with reckless grin and a hot temper, a tough, tow-headed boy with a cigarette in his mouth and a bitter grin on his hard face, remembering at the time it didn't hurt. A quiet, defeated looking 16-year-old whose hair needed cutting badly and who had black eyes with a frightened expression on them. 1 week had taken all three of them, and I decided that I could tell people, beginning with my English teacher. I wondered for a long time how to start that theme, how to start writing about something that was important to me. And I finally began like this. When I stepped out into the bright sunlight from the darkened movie house, I had only two things in my mind: Paul Newman and a ride home.